the podcast where we feature the inspirational journeys and practical experiences of our outstanding alumni. I am Afsha Khan from the School Alumni Department, and today we have a remarkable alumna with us from the City School Gulberg campus batch of 2009. She's currently working as a Senior Marketing Manager at Systems Limited. Today we are going to talk about digital marketing, its future trends, skill sets required in this field, and corporate cultures, and much more. So here she is with us. Assalamu alaikum, Hadiz. How are you doing?
Thank you, Afsha. Thank you for having me. I'm doing really well and very excited for our conversation today.
So I'm excitedly looking
Likewise.
forward to hearing your
Likewise.
successful journey. Please tell us about yourself.
Afsha, I am a marketing and communications professional. I've
Good.
been working for the last 8.5, 9 years. Back when, like you said, that we talk about digital marketing today, and I was just thinking that back when I started my career, there was no such thing as digital marketing because
Yeah, 8 years back.
8.5, 9 years back. So till date, from 2011 when I graduated from Kinnaird College in doing my bachelor's in international relations. Till date, I've had the privilege and honor of working with 50 plus brands across their marketing and communication strategies.
Wow,
So
amazing.
so it's been a highlight of my career to see all those brands transition from being traditional to becoming digitally savvy. Moreover, I'm a published writer. I've written, I continue to write for large publications. I've written for Daily Times, Pakistan Today, around pieces that are pertinent, pieces that are close to my heart, around socio-economic issues. And that's about it. That's
Very
what I
good,
do.
very
Yeah.
well done. Great to hear about your
Thank
notable
you.
achievements.
Thank you so much.
Share your experience of the city school, from the city school alumna to becoming a senior marketing professional at one of the top Pakistan's IT firm.
Looking back, I think city school shaped the large part of my life, and I can say that because there have been so many moments in my life and I've reflected upon, you do think about these things, your educational background, your institutions, and I keep coming back to the city school. I started my journey around 8.5, 9 years ago. I graduated from Kinnaird College in International Relations. Soon after, I started working in a digital advertising agency. I started with Bremer's, went on to working at a fintech where I watched real impact unfold. Worked very closely with MSMEs, working on financial inclusion strategies, and now I'm at Systems Limited, which you mentioned is Pakistan's largest IT company, and it's been a very, very rewarding journey.
Yeah, truly, I believe that. So actually now I would like to come back towards the topic, moving on to your career, since you have already mentioned that you started your career in the field of marketing. So tell me what actually inspired you to pursue the career in this field, where, was there any specific or particular moment or any influence that actually led you down this path?
I was actually thinking about it last night. I was when when I was thinking about this podcast and this question, and I thought talk about the fact that co-curricular activities are something that people do on the side. It's something, everything that you do is your academics are at the forefront of everything in life. It should be. But in my case, Afsha, if I tell you very honestly, my academics were never geared towards a professional goal. On the contrary, my co-curricular activities were, and this is where city school comes in and have shaped a large part of what I do today. I joined city school when I was in grade 4 up until my O levels, and I remember the best memories from this school has been being on the mic, just like I am today. There's so many, from the morning assemblies that we have to annual days to dramatics competitions to parliamentary debates to writing competitions, all of that, which is now a very important skill in my professional life. It has all its roots from my time at the city school, honestly. If I talk, I don't like talking about my subjects because my subjects have not geared me towards my professional goals. My my co-curricular activities have. So just to answer your question, there has never been a particular moment when I thought that okay, I'll end up in marketing because marketing was something that just happened gradually over time. And it's anchored in my passion for writing.
And especially this digital marketing
Yes,
issue.
and especially for my passion for writing because when I was in A levels or when I was in my O levels, even up until my bachelor's, I thought that I would do something that involved writing. During my bachelor's, when I was studying international relations, it unlocked a new world for me. I did not know that there was so much happening, because this is not something that you're taught in schools. At least back then, it wasn't. That marketing and communications is something very, very important, which schools have started to teach now. But back then, there was not really a lot of conversation around it, right? So when I joined Brahmans, I realized this is an entirely new world. There's digital marketing here, coach,
Yes.
or we would we would go to clients, and I've till date, if I look back, I've worked across 50 plus clients, shaping their marketing and advertising solutions, shaping their strategies. And I've been a part of the journey for so many brands where they've transitioned from just being on billboards to actually having very, very sound digital campaigns. So from there on, one thing led to another. Bramers unlocked a new world for me. I realized the huge potential in digital marketing, and that pretty much led me to where I am today, which is Systems Limited.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're enjoying your
I am.
professional journey. So in every field you've encountered a lot of challenges. I believe that in this specific field, that the field itself is quite dynamic and ever evolving.
Yeah.
So how do you keep yourself up to date with the latest trends and innovations?
Afsha, in this particular field, especially in this field, you are always in an always on mindset.
Exactly.
Once there's something,
Yeah.
everything's changing at a lightning speed, right?
That's true.
Consumer sentiment is changing. I've had the privilege of working with very, very diverse set of consumers. For example, I was working in a fintech called Finja. It's Pakistan's leading fintech, targeting MSMEs, which are your Karyana stores, right?
Okay.
So that is a very, very different kind of segment. And telling them about digital products, making them digitally aware, bringing them into the financial net, making them financially inclusive was a huge challenge. How do you tell a Karyana store owner, a mom and pop shop owner, that this is an application through which you can access financial gain, through which you can unlock lending opportunities. And what you do is, when you deal with that kind of an audience, you always have to look at international best practices, because Pakistan is still at a very nascent stage when it comes to digital marketing or digital opportunities.
So you need to educate people.
We have to constantly stay up to date. We have to constantly look at international best practices. There are trainings that you must enroll in now. I've learned by working on different brands, understanding their needs, and that learning has been on the job. But today, 8-9 years later, there are LUMS is doing a lot of courses.
Yeah.
People in O levels, A levels have started thinking about these
Exactly.
this field. I speak to a lot of because I've had the privilege to recruit a lot of people in my team. I mentor students from Kinnaid, from LUMS, from different schools, and now we've been there, we've been through that journey, so we pass on that learning. But then it was something very new, so we stay up to date. There are courses that you can enroll in, and then there are international best practices that you always have to keep your eyes on.
That's true.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are the basic skill sets and the qualities required in this field, to remain competitive in this role?
I think so it really depends. So within digital marketing, there are so many different facets that you can venture into. So for example, like I said, that I've always been a writer. I enjoy writing, so I started my journey with being in content and creative. I used to write copies, the ad copies for brands. So from Samsung to Nestle to Tetra Pak to I don't know how many other brands. I've worked on their content strategies. I've presented those creative campaign ideas, and Alhamdulillah, it has been very gratifying to see your copy or your ad running on TV, on digital, your DVCs running on YouTube. एकदम ad आ जाता है और आप कहते हैं, oh ये तो मेरा, I came up with this concept, right? So that is one area where you can venture into. So either you can be in creative or content. Then there's the quintessential media buying element where you put your content out there through ads. So that is something that people can learn. Then when you're working for a brand or an agency, a very important role is being the liaison between the client and the agency. So there's a lot of account manager roles that there are. I liked writing, so I started from there.
Content.
Ultimately, content and creative ideation, because I am somebody who has to be creatively stimulated, which
is very important. I think
exactly.
You have to be very creative.
Which is why I never thought that I'd end up in a career which did not, involve creative thinking. I have these ideas and I have to put them on paper. I have to put them out there. So when you come with that kind of mindset, you can really find your true calling within this, industry and within this area.
That's true. You have to be very creative and always on mode, which you have already mentioned. So tell me, you were actually managing a team, since you were a marketing professional. So how have you developed your leadership skills?
Interesting question. I think you should ask my team if I'm
Is that you're a good boss or bad boss?
Yeah, but I think it has, again, I've seen people around me, being in leadership roles, and you try to emulate them when you come to that position yourself. So I've had the privilege of working with the nicest people. My line managers have mostly been women. Even at Systems Limited right now, it's very, very heartening to see that within the tech space, you don't see a lot of women traditionally, but now, so for example, the CHRO is a woman, the head of marketing, who's my manager, is a very dynamic woman. The CFO is a woman.
Very good.
So so many inspirational women around you helps. And then even in your personal life, you see examples. I've grown in a family of strong women. So I've seen my mother.
Your mother was working.
My mother is still working. She's been with the city school for the last 25 years now. When you see people around,
and especially women, they're working around.
Exactly, and then when you see so many women around you, you tend to draw on from their examples, and even the men around you, they also help you become the person that you are, obviously. So if I were to say that how did I develop my leadership abilities, that has come directly from the people around me, and
the mentors you have.
The mentors I
So
have.
I'm sure it's not very easy, to lead a team of 10 members, and so that's good. Another question I have, which is very important and very close to my heart, that is, you have a demanding role and you have to manage your personal life with that as well. So it can be very, very challenging. So, how do you prioritize and manage work-life balance to ensure that you have time for your personal life?
Afsha, that's a really great question, and something that's also very close to my heart, because I feel that times have changed, and I don't know why there's even a conversation that women are working. Just like men are working, women are working.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. I remember when I got married, and I went back to work after taking a short break of 2 weeks. जो आपने लेनी होती है अपनी शादी की annual break. So I went back to work and someone was like, you were back, I thought you got married, and I was like, aren't you married? Why was this expectation that I'm going to quit just because I'm married? But that is something that really, really has to change. And when it comes to balancing, like I said, that I come from a family where there have not been very staunch gender roles. My brother or myself, things have never really been different. So it came naturally to me. It wasn't something that I saw was like something different. I saw my mother working.
You saw your family working around you.
I saw the way my parents function in an environment where both the parents were working. It was not something like the father has to go and the mother has to stay home. So that came very naturally to me. It was not something that was different. Then of course, so I'd give that credit to my parents, nurturing me in that environment, especially my father, because fathers have to be supportive.
Exactly.
Of course,
and since you have a supportive family, you're married and you're managing your own house.
Yeah, so I think the first thing is, being in that kind of environment, having a support system. Like for example, Alhamdulillah, it has never been a conversation between me and my husband, just like he goes to work, I go to work, it's very natural. Right, but obviously I say that from a place of entitlement and from a place of privilege, but it's not the same for everybody. But it should be.
It should be.
It should be. It's not the same, but it should be. And having said that, while society has created this expectation that women will be the natural caregivers and women are expected to stay home, society has cultivated that, right? It is not something that is, it's not nature, it's nurture. So it is also up to the society now to create that enabling environment for women.
That's
Give them
true.
flexibility.
Exactly.
If you have prescribed women to that role of being a homemaker and a caretaker and you're expected to multitask, that's fine, but then give us that flexibility. Give us that space. Give us a place on the table. You know, you have to allow women to be in that position where they can voice their thoughts.
That's true.
There have been several moments in my life when I've been the only girl in a boardroom. I've been in presentations and I've been in meetings at very large companies where I was the only girl presenting to a room full of men.
Especially it happens in the corporate culture.
It does, and you know, it really bothers you that why. There's so many talented women out there that I know who cannot pursue their passions fully, and I could because I come from that kind of family. But it didn't have to be the same way, right? So it's up to the society now to understand that your country, with half of its population sitting at home, cannot reach the level that you want it to be.
Right.
And of course, there's a certain mind shift now. It is happening. I see a lot of women pursuing their career even well beyond their marriage and kids. But then it is also up to the workplaces to, you know, provide those kind of opportunities. So, for example, I'd really like to mention here, Systems Limited does that. There are daycares in all our offices.
Remote work.
Remote work, like I was telling you, I come on Friday. We are in a completely hybrid setting.
And flexible,
Flexible.
Hours and
So,
everything. They should offer it.
Give women that kind of flexibility, give women that kind of space, give women that kind of opportunity, and then see your enterprise and see your company soar.
And plus, I believe a lot of women are now, working and, people are understanding it. Hope they will understand
will
more.
continue to understand it, hopefully.
That's true. So in the last, I have a last question for you, which is an advice for the young generation, those who are actually looking for their, career, especially in this field. What is your advice for them?
My advice to them would be to just follow your true calling. And at this stage in your life, you might not know what it is. And true callings change. That's also, but do what makes you happy. If your parents tell you to be a doctor and your heart says you want to be a writer, please don't be a doctor. You will be a terrible doctor. If you instead become a writer, do what your heart says, do what makes you happy. Like, very, very important for everybody to be A, creatively stimulated, B, follow what their heart says, and C, just cancelling out the noise around you. There's going to be so much banter, there's going to be so much commentary on what you're doing with your life, but ultimately, no one cares. Ultimately, just follow what your heart says. Of course, don't go on breaking rules, but just do what makes you happy.
So your advice is listen to your heart.
Yes, yes.
So
please.
thank you so much, Hijab. Thank you everyone for watching TCS Alumni Podcast. We hope this discussion has provided valuable insights. Remember that the beauty of this field lies in its constant innovation. So stay curious, stay adaptive, and keep pushing your boundaries. Wish you good luck. Allah Hafiz.